Ottawa Senators in action tonight, and it should be a very good one, taking on the New York Rangers, guys. Monday night hockey, just one game on the board tonight. Don't worry. We're here on PuckTime, WagerTalk TV, Andrew and Carmine, to break things down for you, as well as some great stuff coming up on the show. We'll have some stuff to break down, some stuff to get to, and hopefully you guys will chime in with us in the comment section afterwards or the live chat here on the video. I want to give a huge thanks to all of you that joined me on the 5% play Saturday night. Nebraska gets the job done. I told you, hey, look, we are low volume with college basketball. We pick our spots when we see fit. A lot of you guys joined me on it, and we made some money Saturday night, college basketball, March Madness style. Hope you guys all had a great, great weekend. And Carm, that BOGO special, man, you were texting me on the weekend about the Montreal Canadiens. We had that BOGO special going on, still available. People that they want our NHL, they can get me and you together at a great price. I had a 4-0 NHL weekend. We cashed a 5% college basketball ticket. So feeling pretty good going into today, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. 4-1 NHL weekend overall, including a 5% winner on Saturday with the St. Louis Blues. And, you know, it's one of those weird ones where the final score, I think, was like something like 3-1 or whatever, but I never felt uncomfortable the whole game because the Blues are playing extremely well right now. Every game they are putting in like a maximum effort and playing well. But whether they win by a goal or they win by 7, it doesn't matter. It was a straight money line play at -130, and I'm happy it got there. So, with that said, we got a great schedule ahead, guys. On today's show, though, what we're going to do is obviously there's only one game tonight, Ottawa and the Rangers, and we'll get to it in a little bit. We are going to do a couple NHL playoff make or miss segments because you guys asked for it. So we are going to do it. And then I've got an absolutely crazy play from Andrew. But the more I think about it, the more it kind of makes a little sense to because Andrew, I like hedgeable bets, and that's all I'm going to say. Hedgeable bets. I put them in, and then if it is a good amount later on that I can hedge out on, I do it. If not, I ride it out. But
Right.
with that said, no, the BOGO definitely Montreal Canadiens. Where they get 7 goals from? You know what I mean? And then like last night's game, the Sabres losing OT, but pick up 7 of 8 points on this road trip. The Sabres playing extremely well right now. Gave up a power play goal at the end, unfortunately, to force the overtime, and then they lose it in overtime. But I gave up. I had a client play on the over in that game, and
Nice.
a couple of my friends are like, "How do you take an over in a Sabres game in which they've only allowed 1 goal in 3 games on the road?" I go, because it sets up perfectly for it to be an over against Anaheim and 6-5 final. It doesn't get any better
I had
than
the
that.
Ducks in that one, Carm.
Did you? Oh, well, there you go.
It was a sweat. It was a sweat.
Traitor. Damn,
but yesterday I had the Ducks and I had the Flames, and I'm watching March Madness, so I'm going back and forth with all the games that I'm on, and it's almost like karma got me for not being loyal to the games I was supposed to watch. The Flames are up 3-1. The Ducks are up 4-2. They both go to overtime. 4-2 and 3-1. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And obviously the Sabres went up, took the lead from the Ducks. So, you know, we complain a lot on the show about losing in 3-on-3 overtime. So it felt pretty good yesterday to get some overtime winners. But you know what's funny, Carm? I used to talk about goaltending not meaning much to me. And the past few weeks in the show, goaltending has meant a lot. And I've been using different websites to break down these goalie stats. How big of a drop-off is it from Vasilevsky to Jonas Johansson? Like that guy, whenever he starts, I don't care how good Tampa Bay's roster is, that guy is one of the worst goalies in the league. Like he gives up 2 goals above expected every year.
Say the worst goalie. You might, with the analytics might support it, but you have a Tampa team that that does play a lot, sort of like I used a phrase in soccer, a forward foot sort of soccer, where you're always on the attack, and Tampa seems that way. And sometimes you leave the back end a little open. Vasilevsky is a good goalie to have back there. When you do, he makes some great saves. So you got to give him sort of kudos on that. But honestly, Andrew, like with some of these goalies, like yesterday, Vegas, if not for Casey DeSmith in the third period, and for pretty much the last 35 minutes of that game, if not for Casey DeSmith, the Vegas Golden Knights would have blown the Dallas Stars out of the building. And I had Dallas Stars. He made save after save. Vegas was all over him. It was like a power play for 20 minutes for the Vegas Golden Knights, for a team on the second of a back-to-back, losing 4-1 against Nashville the night before. Man, they skated and they brought it. So kudos to the Knights. And we see some goalies like that. Ville Husso in goal yesterday for Anaheim. They had to score 6 goals with Ville in net. Ville is Johnny Detroit's favorite goalie for when he was here in Detroit. I think he offered to drive him to the airport and never come back when he played for the Red Wings. But with that said, I am going to watch the Red Wings and the Buffalo Sabres on Friday. So I will not be on Friday's show, but I will be doing a live 6 and 60 either from Buffalo or wherever I am at the time that the show goes live. 6 and 60 goes 5-1 this past weekend. The aforementioned Detroit Red Wings blow a late third period lead and lose to the Boston Bruins. That was the only loss in the 6 and 60. 19 and 5 the last 4 weeks is the 6 and 60. If you've been following, you've been making money. If you've been fading, you probably have my face on a dartboard somewhere. With that, it's what it is, man. Andrew, speaking of the aforementioned Detroit Red Wings, let's discuss whether the Detroit Red Wings make the NHL playoffs. And then we will get to Ottawa and the Rangers, along with a Ralph Michaels fade or follow stat. But there you have it, Andrew. Minus 140 on the yes, plus 115 on the no. They play Ottawa, I believe that's tomorrow night. I think, yes, on the second and Ottawa will be on the second of a back-to-back. Then they play the Sabres in Buffalo. Philadelphia at home. It's kind of a weird home away kind of schedule for them, but it's East Coast stuff, so it's not too bad on the travel. Pittsburgh away, Philadelphia away, so they stay in Pennsylvania for a couple of days. Play the New York Rangers, who may or may not have spit the bit, to use a horse racing phrase. The Minnesota Wild at home. The hot Columbus Blue Jackets that ran into a wall called Sorokin yesterday. Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils, a couple home games there before they head to the Sunshine State to finish it off against Tampa and Florida. Florida's already started their vacation by at that point, even though they started a couple weeks ago. Tampa might still be playing for something, Andrew, because the Atlantic Division probably will go down to the final week before it's settled. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, I think when it comes to these type of bets, and we're going to talk about a couple of them today, is you're not just, we've talked about, of course, a couple throughout the past week or two on the show. You're not just talking about one team to make or miss. You're talking about other teams around them to make or miss, which is what I find the most interesting, right? Like you look at the New York Islanders and the way things have set up now, the Columbus Blue Jackets leapfrogged the New York Islanders. So now the Columbus Blue Jackets rank number 3rd in the Metropolitan Division. So with that happening, they've got themselves set where they're thinking, okay, this New York Islanders team, they're a wild card team or nothing, because I think Columbus is probably going to stay in that spot. So now the 2 wild card teams being the Boston Bruins and the New York Islanders. So, you pretty much have the Red Wings, the Islanders, and the Bruins battling it out. A big win for my Canadians on Saturday night, which they needed over those aforementioned New York Islanders. So I think that when you look at this team, especially with the teams around them, like the New York Islanders have the 3rd toughest schedule remaining in the NHL season. I think it just sets up for if the Red Wings get the job done against the teams they should beat, then they're on their way to a playoff spot. And, at first I was fading this team because they lost Comper and they lost Larkin. But, getting one of those guys back and now having Larkin kind of skating around and getting ready to go here soon. When I see the Devils on there, when I see Philadelphia on there, even though they're playing a bit better, I think this sets up for an opportunity for them to win out, and that's all they have to do. So at minus 140, I'm taking the yes. But, Carm, this is as much to me as a spot here where the New York Islanders are not safe right now in a playoff position. And, we've talked about this. It's not a fresh thing. It's not a new thing with the format for the NHL playoffs, the way it works. But, man, I miss the 1 versus 8 so bad because it makes it so interesting for us the way we formulate how things work. And we're going to get to the Western Conference in a little while here. But, I mean, when you look at things with that Metropolitan Division, so you've got Columbus sitting on 85 points, Detroit sitting on 84. So they could leapfrog Columbus and end up in that third spot in the division, or they could take over the New York Islanders and then have that last spot in the wild card spot. So it's incredibly close, and it's worth noting as well. The Islanders have played 71 games. The Red Wings have played 70 games. So they're only behind 1 point, and they've played one less game than them.
Yeah, Andrew, this is this conference is unbelievable. I'm enjoying it. It is. Some teams are in playoff hockey mode at the moment. Obviously, the Ottawa Senators that we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes.
Carm, I think I lost you. I can't hear you. Carm, I think I lost you, Carm. I can't hear you.
All right.
There we go. I got you.
Oh.
I got you.
Yeah, every once in a while it dips out. But Philadelphia has picked up 4 wins in their last 5. 3 of them went to overtime. 4 games went to overtime. They won 3. They lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets in OT, playing extremely good hockey, and they're right back. They're in the mix as well too. It is one of those ones where, in order for one of those teams, kind of like in Ottawa, a Washington, a Philadelphia, that they are, in all likelihood, if they have let's say 11 games left, they're going to have to win 8 of them, and that is just to determine if they might get a wild card spot, because still the teams in front of them could go 500 and you don't make it in. Ottawa left themselves with a lot to do. We're going to discuss them in a second, but this division or this conference is unbelievable. And yeah, if we had the 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7 matchups, it would be phenomenal. Can you imagine Carolina, you finish first and you get rewarded by playing the New York Islanders with Sorokin in goal, or Ottawa Senators, who have won 18 of 19, let's say, by that point, or the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've been fantastic under Rick Bowness. When you lose a game while only allowing a goal, it's one of those ones where I feel it's a loss, but is it really a loss in the sense of team did not play well? They just ran into the wall. That is Eli Sorokin. So absolutely, it's going to be a phenomenal race. I kind of hope a lot of this stuff gets settled prior to me leaving to go away for the last week. I figured the last week of the regular season would be the great time to get my wife away for a week before it becomes the NHL playoffs and the World Cup of Soccer for me, and baseball as well too, which I am going to be heavily on as well too, MLB, and then starting this all over again with football season, college, NFL, and stuff. So I picked the 1 week, and the league does not agree with me. They just spit it back in my face, Andrew. So you're going with yes on the Detroit Red Wings. Andrew, let me ask you this question, and then we'll go to the first game, or the only game on tonight's card. I am going to Detroit. I'm going to Buffalo to watch the Detroit game with Johnny one of the owners from WagerTalk, his lovely wife, Paula, and my buddy Joe and I. You've met my buddy Joe. What odds would you put on me sneaking in an octopus and tossing it on the ice after the Sabres victory. But I put like a little Sabres jersey on that octopus too.
I think whatever odds I bet on that happening, I have to bet equally on how many beers are consumed at the game in order to have the courage to do that. But knowing you, I don't know. Do you have a seafood market you're going to find before you go to the game?
This
You're
is
going to
what
get an octopus.
this,
Maybe I'll give you -1. I'll give you the same odds as the Red Wings, -140 to get it done.
okay. Yeah, that's going to steam. I'm arriving early on Friday in Buffalo, checking into the hotel and then meeting. We're all going to meet up and have some beers and wings and burgers and stuff before the game. So that I'm going to guess that 140 steams up to about 185, 190. We'll know as the week goes, but we'll try and get it done. Well, with that said, Andrew, we got another make or miss, but we're going to get to that at the end. I want to talk about tonight's game, obviously. So let's bring it up. Okay, Andrew, here's my problem with this game tonight. And let me just write down this number here. Ottawa's -191. The New York Rangers are +155. Total sits here at 6. Shesterkin's confirmed for the New York Rangers tonight. And it'll likely be Allmark. The world, and I mean the world, is going to be on the Ottawa Senators tonight because there is absolutely no reason to bet the Rangers, even though they won 5 of 6 before this 4-game losing streak, and I couldn't figure out why they were even winning games. The world, there is not a single person who wants to take the New York Rangers tonight, and all the money seems to be going on Ottawa, and that line could hit -200, 210 by game time. Can I be the contrarian and just say, like, the game that everyone is on, or the team that everyone's on, I want to be on the other side? What are your thoughts on this one?
Look, I agree with you. It makes it weirder because it's only one game of the day. And I feel like that's what is tougher for us, because if you look at the analytics, if you look at the defensive numbers, if you look at even the goaltending numbers, if you look at the rest factor, if you look at the urgency level, pretty much everything in this game comes down to the Ottawa Senators. Now, the one thing I will say, and we can't compare the Rangers and the Islanders, but back-to-backs don't always mean a team is going to struggle. They do not always mean that, because we saw that with the New York Islanders, right? Yesterday, Carm, who would have thought the New York Islanders would bounce back after what we saw from them? But after all of me saying that, Ralph Michaels comes in here and says, oh yeah, the Rangers are 1-10 with no rest, and the Senators are 8-2 against the team with no rest. So it's like every single thing adds up to the Ottawa Senators getting the job done. Again, 1-10 with no rest. I mean, this is one of those things here, Carm, where I've said it to you down the stretch about keeping it simple, stupid. And when you look at things right now, Ottawa right now, 4.23 expected goals per game, 10.6 high danger attempts per game. This is over the last 5-game sample size. I mean, look, and here's the thing too. The last thing I'll say to you, they set things up for Shesterkin to play a second half of back-to-back. We've been seeing that a lot more lately, right? It's just this team right now averaging 4.38 expected goals against per game. 4.38. So if Shesterkin doesn't stand on his head, this team is absolutely screwed. I rest my case.
It can happen. Sorokin did it yesterday, but you look at those numbers, and this is from Ralph Michaels on the Fade or Follow stat that we have created. Any home dog of +125 or higher with no rest versus a rested team is 41 and 124, -31.5 ROI. And if it's game 60 or later, which it is, it's 7 and 35, 57, -57 ROI. Man, that is like buying like those Doji coins from Elon Musk, where he just pumps it, dumps it, and you lose all your money because you got in late. Uh, Rangers 1-10, no rest. But look at Ottawa, 3-0 against a team with no rest, and 16-5 is the combined score of those three games. Absolutely remarkable number there, Andrew. It is, but it is a weird thing. It's just, I'm telling you, and I'm likely going to be wrong on this, but with everyone on the New York the Ottawa Senators tonight, you know what I mean? And people are saying, look, in the chat, they're cooked. Sorokin's got to stand on his head. It's like you said, we have seen crazier things happen in the NHL. You know what I mean? The New York Rangers went 5 games ago, I think it was, went into Minnesota. And even though the Wild weren't playing the greatest, they went on the road into Minnesota and dominated the game start to finish and winning 4-2. Then they come home and they're like, they've lost 4 straight games. And we're like, okay, the old Rangers are back. It is the NHL has been, if nothing else, Andrew, a bizarro NHL season. I am not trying to convince anybody to take the New York Rangers tonight. It is not going to be a client play on the New York Rangers tonight. But man, I'm going to sit back, watch this game, and I would not be surprised if the New York Rangers make this a game tonight. So we shall see. So we're mano a mano on this one, right? You're on the Sens. I'm on the Rangers.
The only thing I've got in this game here, Carm, is a player prop because I feel the exact same way as you. So I'm not on the Sens quite yet because of the same things that you're saying, man. When I logged on with you before with the show, I'm like, it feels pretty easy. Feels like we could all make some money on the Ottawa Senators. And you know what's cool is that there's teams that just love to play spoiler, right? Teams that just want to cause problems down the stretch. And, part of me was looking at maybe some overs, and part of me is looking at some team totals or team total under for the Rangers because of Allmark and such. But when you look at this, like this game and the goaltending battle right now, and you talk about Shesterkin having to stand on his head, it's like one of those things for Ottawa. It's not even just their offense has been playing so well. It's their defense has been playing well. They're limiting shots, but a lot of the shots they get are from the outside. So it's very interesting to me looking at this one here. My question is, Carm, for you, how do people get the best price they possibly can if they want to take the Ottawa Senators? Because that's what I think is probably the most confusing for teams right now. I
say this. Earlier, I stated that Ottawa, everyone's betting Ottawa. Ottawa's going to continue to take the money, and as they should, because they're the better team. So this is the first of a back-to-back for the Ottawa Senators, right? So you have the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow night. They're in Detroit. A much more important game in the grand scope of things for Ottawa. Both games are important.
Yeah.
But let's look at it from a goalie perspective. We know Shesterkin is starting. From a goalie perspective, you have Allmark. You're not going to start in both games. You have the backup is what? James Reimer. Do you start James Reimer tonight? If James Reimer comes off the ice first at the morning skate, then people are like, oh, it's not Allmark in goal. It is James Reimer. Does the confidence level go down a little bit with bettors, and maybe we see that 190, 192 turn into like a 180? So do you wait on the starting goalie for the Ottawa Senators only not to get you off the bet, only to get you a better number? Because again, it's about saving vig. If this is the high end of the number with Allmark in it, is there a lower end with James Reimer at 180, maybe 175, where you say, I saved 16 cents in juice by waiting, and long term, you save 15 cents on any bet you're going to make money long term by saving vig. What do you do?
I think you have to be, Carm. I think you have to be, when you look at it, you have to be looking at different ways to make money. And if that way is waiting, let's be real here. Allmark is better than Reimer. I don't think it's by a huge, crazy margin in the last 20 games, but on the season, when you look at him, I think this is a no doubter. If people come out and they're making their bets on Ottawa and they're like, holy shit, I didn't know Reimer was playing and they should have listened to Carmine on PuckTime, then you wait until 6 or 7 o'clock to pull the trigger on that. But yeah, this is all I've got here for us, Carm, on this one. Igor Shesterkin over 26.5 saves. That's minus 120. We do have one confirmed goalie in this game. Of course, as you mentioned, we're waiting to hear the goaltending confirmation numbers for the Ottawa Senators. But I do think that when you look at this Ottawa Senators team, as much as they've been shot suppressing, they've also been creating chances offensively. Their offensive numbers just look fantastic lately. And as much as I'm joking around saying that Shesterkin's going to have to stand on his head, the reason why I'm saying that is because they're just giving up so many chances. Like the narrative coming into this game is that it's your goalie makes 30 plus saves or bust for this New York Rangers team. That's really the way I see it here, Carm. They're going to face trouble. They're going to face a motivated Ottawa team. And if what you were talking about a few moments ago about this game being a sketchy game and can Rangers play spoiler, you and I both know if they play spoiler, it's probably not because the game finished 5-4, right? It's probably because Shesterkin played amazing and the game was 3-2 in the third period. It's kind of the way I see it. So Igor Shesterkin over 26.5 saves. That's the consensus number at most books. Shop around for the best price you can.
Can you hear me, Andrew?
I got you, brother.
I seem to have lost. Oh, okay. Anytime I change windows, I just wanted to change browsers to check some any news on who the starting goalie might be, but I missed the end of it. I can see that the Shesterkin saves prop going over because Ottawa's going to bring it, and that gets even better, I think, if it's a closer game, because or if the Rangers get ahead, because Ottawa's just not going to give in. So we're seeing a great season from them, but I'm going to tell you, because we saw it last year and we saw it the year before. And again, I'm not trying to make a case for the New York Rangers tonight at all. I am just saying, because there's one game on the board, you don't necessarily have to go nuts and play it. I think a lot of people wait to make their bets later on because they have action on something else earlier on. And this is the whole thing about bankroll management is if your bankroll's big enough, or you know what I mean, or you're practicing proper bankroll management, you can put the bet in when you're supposed to put it in and not lose any value. Some people, it is a perfect example is like March Madness. You have a team that's minus 10 and you're like, well, I'm going to bet the earlier games because this game doesn't go off until 10 o'clock at night, and then they're 11.5 and they're like, well, I was going to take them at 10, I might as well take them at 11.5. You're getting a worse price by waiting. You put it in when you think the number has its value. But to the point I was trying to make before I went off on that narrative is, last year and the year before, I watched the Buffalo Sabres as plus 250, plus 300 favorites late in the season, the last 20 games or less, win games. We saw the Chicago Blackhawks go into Pittsburgh, where the Penguins needed to win the final game of the regular season, Andrew, if you remember, to make the playoffs. Yeah. And Chicago beat them as a monster dog. So it happens. What happens on the ice, you just don't know sometimes. And we're the ones stuck trying to make a decision where we either look good or we have egg on our face. So I'm going to try and avoid the egg on the face. I am not advocating betting the New York Rangers tonight, but you might want to. This is one of those ones where you might want to wait for the, if you like the Ottawa Senators, on the starting goalie, because it can't go much higher, but it can go lower the price based on the fact that I think it would be Reimer in goal tonight. and Allmark against the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow. I think you want your best goalie when you're facing a team that you're trying to catch to make the NHL playoffs.
And it's worth noting too, like from the offensive perspective for New York, a lot of my numbers say they're overachieving offensively. Like the goals they're scoring versus expected goals, like they could plummet. So the goalie being in for Ottawa is a huge factor if you like New York. And if you like Ottawa, as you said, Carm, people might as well just wait, because if Reimer gets put in, that minus 190, it's not going to get any higher. It's just going to get lower probably here. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm very curious what happens here with this game as far as the total is concerned, because I do think that New York is overachieving offensively, but I also think that they're relying so much on Shesterkin that I very well could see like a 4-2 game, something like that. And you know, with the total the way it is, we don't really know where that's going to get us, 4-3, 4 whatever. So I would not be shocked, put it this way, to see the first period go under 1.5 because New York can't beat Ottawa in a 5-4 game. I don't believe they can. I don't think if it's a race to 4 or race to 5 wins, that New York is going to play. And, you know, one thing funny about these back-to-backs is I've talked about it a lot this year. When I first started handicapping hockey, it used to be an automatic bet to the over with back-to-backs. Like, oh, back-to-back, this team's going to be tired. Now a lot of back-to-backs. What was the score yesterday, Carm, with that back-to-back? 1-0. 1-0 after they lost 7-3, the Islanders, right? So sometimes that stuff happens.
Andrew, what's the price on Mika Zibanejad scoring a goal tonight? Does anybody know?
Mika
I'm looking.
Zibanejad.
I'm looking for
I can
it
get
right
you
now.
plus 195, and I can get you 12-1 for the first goal of the game.
All right. Okay. I won't take the first goal of the game, but I'll take Mika 195 on the power play. When Brady Tkachuk takes a stupid penalty. Andrew, let's switch to the Western Conference with a make or miss from you. And we are going to talk the Nashville Predators. Fresh off a victory. Oops, wrong one. Let's get rid of that one, wherever that one went. We are going to talk the Nashville Predators. I'll add it to the stage there. Fresh off a victory over the Vegas Golden Knights. Andrew, plus 115 to make the playoffs, minus 135 to miss. San Jose, the Devils, a couple teams dead in the water. Montreal Canadiens, team in the playoffs. Tampa. Then a weird schedule. They head to the West Coast for them, of course. And it's the Kings, the Sharks, the Kings, Anaheim. 2 games against the Kings in LA. Then Utah, 5-game road trip, return home, face Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim. Finish off with 3 games on home ice. Yes or no? And why?
Yeah, we had some people in the chat saying, hey, talk about this team a little bit more. Talk about some other teams a bit more. And I think that there's a time and a place where you can almost sell high on a team. And I think that we're selling at the best possible point we can. If you would have given me this bet to make, Carm, last week or 2 weeks ago, the price would have been way different. You're getting them as everybody starts to get excited about this team. I want to go against them. And I've already talked on the show about the LA Kings making the playoffs. According to most websites, as far as strength of schedule is concerned, the Los Angeles Kings have the most favorable schedule remaining in the NHL. So that benefits them in their bid to making the postseason. And of course, you look at the teams around them with the Seattle Kraken, that team has fallen off in a big way. And the Nashville Predators, I tip my cap for them, you know, getting the job done a little bit here, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep it going. And a lot of that has to do with their goaltending saving their butt every night. And I just don't think that's something you can sustain down the stretch. So when I look at the no at minus 135, yes, we're laying chalk, but this is chalk that's worth laying. Look at the March Madness on Friday night. Favorites went 16-0. It's okay to bet favorites sometimes, guys. And this minus 135, I think, is a reasonable number. So when you look at the Pacific Division right now, and the way things stack up, we'll talk about that in a second. Ducks, Knights, Oilers, and the Central Avalanche, Stars, and Wild has been solidified forever. So unfortunately for them, Carm, they've got no shot, obviously, at being one of those top 3 teams. So they're just worrying about being a wild card team. And I don't think the wild card is going to be a home for them. So, and Giovanni says what McDavid said on Saturday night. Hilarious quote from McDavid, the pillow fight Pacific. McDavid had some great quotes on Saturday, actually.
Yeah, well, we should probably have a make or miss on the Edmonton Oilers because they aren't that far off of missing the playoffs as well, too. Andrew, I look at this and I see your point about the excitement and what have you, but I look at the schedule and here's a few things that I think about. They have 12 games left. And I believe that with them being in a playoff spot at the moment, if they were to go 8-4 the rest of the way, which for the way these teams are playing in the Pacific, in the Western Conference, the ones that are fighting for a spot right now, 8-4 is like gold. It is like 66%. So where do you find 8 wins here? So let me go through this. San Jose Sharks at home, I give that a win. New Jersey Devils, that's win number 2. They play Montreal and Tampa Bay. So if they have the momentum going and they have Montreal coming in, that could be win number 3. But I think one of the 2 games against either Montreal or Tampa Bay, they win. So 3 wins after 4. You start the road trip off on the West Coast, even though they play in Tampa Bay. You're going to play the Kings twice. I have a feeling they have to win at least one of those 2. They could win them both because the Kings just don't seem to be impressing me at the moment. So we are now at 5. San Jose mixed in between. I think the Sharks have spit the bit. There's 6. In Anaheim, a loss. In Utah, a loss. Come home, play Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim, and they have to win 2 of those 3 games. And I think they can do it. That's 8 wins. 7 wins might be enough to get him in.
Well, like you said, Carm, the thing is, we're asking some of these teams, like when you, what did you always say about must win does not mean will win, right?
No.
If a team puts themselves in a situation, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
They put themselves in that spot.
It's one of those ones. Teams, Eastern Conference teams going to the West Coast have done extremely well. Nashville is obviously a Western Conference team, but going to those games that are in like San Jose, Anaheim, and LA haven't been killer. They were earlier in the season when the Sharks were playing well and were right there. And you know what I mean? And you can make a case that, hey, the Sharks are still there, but they're not winning games right now at the moment. So it is tough to put any kind of confidence in the Sharks. The Ducks, they'll surprise you. They'll lose 7-0 to Utah and then go to Utah and play a masterful game and beat them 4-1.
Exactly.
A game in which I said is, I liked Utah. I liked Anaheim. I said they were a live dog on Friday. They were going to go in there and win, and they did it. So it was only plus 110, but I'll take some money on a bet any point. Now, that's where we stand on this one, Andrew. This one is completely wild to me, but I see your point on this one. So, Andrew, tell us why you like the Anaheim Ducks at 18-1. I made you look a little different there. It's okay.
Nice spiffy. I should have worn that jacket today. It would have looked cool if I wore the same outfit. That would have been nice.
The Ducks, quack, quack, 18-1 to win the Western Conference.
Quack, quack, quack. The Anaheim Ducks. I want to read something out to you guys before I mention this pick. This is the each division's cumulative goal differential on the season. And I sent this into our PuckTime group for all the hockey handicappers. I just could not believe this last night when I saw this, Carm. The Atlantic Division, who we know has been so great this year, plus 104, a cumulative goal plus a minus differential. Metropolitan, plus 38. The Central, with Colorado and Minnesota and Dallas at plus 59. Here's the bombshell for you guys. The accumulated goal differential for the Pacific Division is minus 201. Minus 201 for the accumulative goal differential for that division. So what does that mean? The division has been garbage, is what it means, Carm. And I'll tell you, this is one of those divisions that you look at and you think, okay, if Anaheim finished as at the top spot, they're going to get a wild card team. And unlike what we were talking about on the show a few moments ago, the wild card teams in the West, I would say, are going to be a little bit easier for the top dogs to beat than in the East. You were talking about it with the Eastern Conference. You know, looking at some of those wild card teams in the East, you could be facing an Ilya Sorokin and a New York Islanders team playing well, a Boston Bruins team playing well, a Detroit Red Wings team playing well. Those teams, you don't really want to play those. But when I'm talking about the LA Kings or the Nashville Predators or some of these teams in the West, Utah Mammoth, I feel like Anaheim can take care of those teams and Colorado can definitely take care of those teams. So 18-1, not even to win the Stanley Cup, to win the Western Conference on the Anaheim Ducks. I love this wager because of how weak the Pacific Division has been. They're going to win their division. They're going to play a wild card team in round one. They're going to win a playoff series and win round one. And then all of a sudden you're going up against probably an Edmonton in round two. You're going into that with an 18-1 ticket. If you win that game, that series against an injured and a team that lacks a lot of depth and bad goaltending and bad defense, you're going into the Western Conference Finals with an 18-1 ticket. And I'll make it very clear, Carm, I would not be playing this ticket if it was not for the format of the NHL playoffs. If it was 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, I would not be playing this. But because of the way this format works out, they're going to beat a wild card team and they're going to play a Pacific Division opponent that I just don't think is very good. If we look at things on paper, Vegas has not had a great year. And we both know Edmonton has not had a great year. So as much as I've been talking about Edmonton and value on them at 12-13-1, and I still think there is for them to win the Stanley Cup, 18-1 for a conference bet, I think is a pretty good price.
Yeah, it is. It is a crazy bet. So go Ducks. As I mentioned before, price wise, you look at it and 18-1 becomes a hedgeable bet. Anything under 10-1 isn't a hedgeable bet. So let's take the premise that we know in the Central that of the top three teams right now in the league, one of them is going to be gone after the first round. Minnesota or the Dallas Stars, unless Dallas somehow catches Colorado. But Landeskog is back, and they looked pretty good on the weekend. So likely Dallas or Minnesota is gone. You look at it if Anaheim wins the division, and let's give out the hypothetical that it is Edmonton and the Vegas Golden Knights finishing second and third in the Pacific. One of those teams is gone. So you're getting rid of some firepower teams that have playoff experience that do extremely well, gone in the first round. And the path becomes a little bit bigger or a little bit better for the Ducks. You see who the matchup is. They're not going to face Colorado until the conference finals, if they were to make it that far. In the conference finals against Colorado, with Colorado having home ice, Colorado is going to be probably about minus 300 to 350 to win the series. You now have a minus 350 that you can hedge against a plus 1800. And that is where you decide what you want to do. So,
yeah.
Hedgeable bets.
Conference bet, right? Conference bet.
Hedgeable bets have to be something that are plus 1500 or 15-1 or more. I do it a lot with soccer bets, and I'll let my guys know, guys, I'm not hedging, but if you want to hedge, here is the hedge and how you're supposed to take it. and some take the advice, some ride it out, and we end up winning. So that's all I say. Andrew,
Absolutely.
the BOGO for you and I believe is still live. What do you have planned before we close out this show? Tomorrow's $5 customer appreciation. We have Don Buster on the show tomorrow. We have Brian Leonard on the show tomorrow. We're going to have an action-packed show going for you guys. Prez is away this week. He will not be on any of the shows. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing for you guys, but he will not be here on the show. But what is your week shaping up like in the NHL?
Well, as far as the NHL is concerned, tomorrow's a massive, massive slate. I'm waiting for numbers to come out. The team totals have gone pretty good lately. And you know, I hit some bumps in the road, Carm, with the team totals. I needed teams to get to 4 or 5, and they were landing on 2 or 3. I'm looking at a big play tomorrow, and I'm looking at a team total play. But as I mentioned, the college basketball 5% went really well on Saturday night. And I'm looking at hopefully one team that's going to be a little bit underappreciated in the market. We're going to look at betting on Wednesday. So some best bets coming this week. No doubt about it. Some best bets coming this week. And that package I mentioned to you guys on the show on Friday, it's going to be up to this afternoon. It's going to be a package for baseball and CFL. We were number 1 last year at the website with CFL betting. The props were great. The sides were great. The totals were great. And as far as MLB is concerned, I ended last year on a plus 25 unit run with best bets. I found out, Carm, I didn't need to release 2% plays. Those were not winning. The 4% and 5% were crushing it. So I learned, just keep it small, but cash those 4% and 5% tickets. So we got a big play NHL tomorrow if I get the right number. College basketball on Wednesday, I'm hoping. And I think when I look at this board, we should have a lot of plays because Thursday, the best part about days like this, with just one game, you get an early start on handicapping the Tuesday slate. So even though we broke down the Ottawa game, we already get a bunch of time to break down the Tuesday game. So the BOGO special, I love it because you and I, we're like never head to head, Carm. It's great. We see the board differently. We bet different games. You guys can get that BOGO. If you want to get our hockey, go to our pages, wt.buzz/CB or /AM to get both of us for 3 days, all sports, or you can get that great deal, Carm, 6 days, all access for the price of 3.
Absolutely great deal. I'm going to have this afternoon, the lines will come out for the NHL. I have my own lines for each and every game, and then I just compare them with the lines as they come out and see where the value lies. And I've got the schedule mapped out. So I know the games I want to take if I can get the right number. But I'll have customer appreciation plays up. If something really stands out as a 5% play, I will have it up. But I know I do have one for Thursday that I really do like. So we shall see how that goes. A couple mentions in the chat, which I'll go through, Andrew, real quickly. I banned the guy in the comment section. Stupid comments like calling people special needs people. How bad is your life? How bad is your life, dude, that you need to make comments about calling people special needs people? Like, seriously, wake up and try and be a better version of yourself each and every morning. And AOD, yes, dude, I'm looking forward to Thursday's World Cup qualifying. I'm going to have some plays up. Man, Italy. What the hell, man? Are you going to qualify for a World Cup? It is unbelievable. The Italian team, 2 straight World Cups where they've missed. I have tickets for the first game, Canada versus the European qualifier, which would be Italy if they beat Northern Ireland on Thursday and then beat the winner of Wales and Bosnia on Sunday. I believe that the game is on Sunday. So we shall see. Reimer is confirmed. So there you go. We'll see if there is a drop in price there. But guys, take advantage of that BOGO package. Andrew, I'm seeing some price drops already. Circuit down to 177, Superbook down to 175, BetMGM down to 170.
Nobody likes Reimer. Nobody
likes Reimer. Let's see if the Ottawa Senators like Reimer or not as well too. A couple
We all need
quick
this
little,
guy.
a couple of quick little notes, Andrew. And sometimes it's hockey related, but not hockey related. Jesse Pierce, thoughts go out to their family. She's a hockey writer, and I think she's involved in for one of the teams. And her and her 3 kids passed away in a house fire. So our thoughts and prayers to her and the family. And of course, the other thing, Andrew, us being Canadian, there was a tragedy today at LaGuardia, or last night, or early this morning, LaGuardia, with an Air Canada plane hitting a fire truck, of all things. And pilot and co-pilot both died. 40 people taken to the hospital with serious injuries, but all are expected to survive. Thoughts and prayers are with them as well too. Andrew, that's pretty much it. Should we call this off? Because if Joe Ranieri was here, you know what he would say? How the hell did you guys spend 52 minutes on one game?
Yes. Well, we talk about one game, Carm, but tomorrow we've got Toronto, Boston, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Montreal, Chicago, New York, Seattle, Florida, Ottawa, Detroit, Columbus, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Vegas, Winnipeg, Washington, St. Louis, New Jersey, Dallas, San Jose. We've also got LA, Calgary, Edmonton, Utah, and Anaheim, and Vancouver. I feel like the guy on Price is Right. With all that being said, there's a ton of games on Tuesday. We are back tomorrow, same time, same place, here on Puck Time. Thanks for watching, guys. Best of luck. We'll see you next time.